2020 has been straight up terrible. And if you guys haven't noticed by my string of nostalgia heavy videos, I've been thinking about better days. Today, that streak ends. Just kidding. You saw the title of the video, The Streak Continues. I actually already did one of these videos for 2010, but today we're going back even further, ranking all the #1 songs in the Billboard Hot 100 for the entire year of the year 2000. These songs are 20 years old. Some of you watching were not alive. Some of you, like myself, were very much alive and had been for some time. And some of you were in the middle, maybe. Anyway, let's count them down. Also, quick disclaimer, these rankings are purely my opinion, and if you disagree, feel free to really let me have it in the comments. Okay, here we go. I've already talked about this point in Creed's career in a previous video, when their post-grunge, holier-than-thou, super serious style was in full force. I think when people want to make fun of Scott Stapp's voice, which was basically a poor man's Eddie Vedder, this is the one they go to. Perfect for an ironic, embarrass your friends and yourself karaoke jam. But personally, I'd go for the older stuff like What's This Life For, My Own Prison, or hell, even Higher was more fun than this one. Every little thing that you do, baby, I'm a man. Saccharine, excessively sweet or sentimental. Example, this song. Since the onslaught of Garth Brooks in the 90s, pop country has taken over the charts in fits and spurts. And usually the songs go the farthest don't sound very country at all. Recent examples include Taylor Swift and Sam Hunt. 90s examples include Faith Hill and Shania Twain. But this trend has been happening since the days of Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Sorry y'all, but Islands on the Stream isn't exactly Jolene, know what I mean? Anyway, in the year 2000, you can add Lonestar to that list of Nashville products that had all the southern charm sucked out of them for a power ballad that would have worked fine for a hair metal band 10 years earlier, or REO Speedwagon 10 years before that. Raise your hand if you had to sit through this one at a first dance between a bride and groom at a wedding. If you haven't yet, you will. Some things are inevitable. Bright lights, fancy restaurants. Sisqo? The thong song guy? He had another hit? Okay. I don't remember this one. Let's take a listen. That without you, girl, my life is incomplete. Okay. I don't remember anything about what I just heard. This got to #1. It's like Casey and JoJo, but without a hook. Maybe it spoke to a lot of lovers out there in the year 2000, or maybe it was just Sisqo riding the wave of the thong song hype. That's probably more likely, I think. Either way, this one's not for me. Moving on. Mariah Carey. A true pop superstar, a diva in every positive sense of the word. So many #1 hits, so many memorable songs, upbeat jams, big time ballads, and yet I feel like this one isn't really one that's remembered. I guess when you're an absolute all-star like Mariah is, you're just gonna have chart toppers that don't have as long of a shelf life. I think that's true for the album Rainbow in general. The other hit single, Heartbreaker with Jay-Z, isn't exactly one you hear on the radio nonstop in 2020. And this one has features from Joe and 98 Degrees, big names in the year 2000, but nowadays we're not talking at all about them. This was also Mariah's last #1 for a while. She went into a bit of a slump, relatively speaking, before making a huge comeback in 2005. My mom loved Savage Garden, so this sappy song makes me think of her. It was so uncool when I was 14 years old, but now with the passing of time and the wisdom of age and a different perspective, yeah, no, I can't stand this. My high moment for Savage Garden was I Want You, back in the late 90s, you know, the Chicka Cherry Cola song. I also don't mind To the Moon and Back and What the Hell, Truly Madly Deeply's okay. My mom loved that one too. This one though, I can't deal. The reason this ranks higher than the previous ones is because the melody is a little stickier than what we've seen from Sisqo and Mariah, but yeah, this one is low ranking for a reason. During this time, the Latin craze was dying down a bit from its initial push in 1999, but Enrique was still pumping out the jams. This one's a major roll the windows down and shout along with your friends song, but all the Latin flourishes, the Spanish guitar, that shuffling beat, they're all pretty cliche at this point, and they were pretty left over from the decade prior. It immediately makes me think of No Mercy. Where do you go, my lovely? Remember them? You help me, I'm so scared that I'll never. Not the last we'll see from Rob Thomas in this video. Hint, hint, wink, wink. In fact, you can see the impact his presence had on pop music during this time. Matchbox 20 was a big rock band, sure, but not #1 song in the country big. At least not until Rob hopped on one of the biggest songs of the year and rose his profile to stratospheric levels. And honestly, Bent is a pretty average Matchbox 20 song, if we're being real. It's certainly not #1 caliber, in my opinion. This was definitely a right place, right time single for the band, but it's not bad. Not the last we'll see from Carlos Santana in this video, hint hint, wink wink. In fact, you can sense the impact his presence had on pop music during this time. Wow, deja vu. Seriously, it seems kind of weird now just how big Supernatural was. That was Santana's comeback album at the time. It went diamond. That's 10 million copies sold. And Maria Maria was the other big song from the album that's only slightly less remembered. Modern listeners will recognize Carlos's signature guitar line. It was sampled in the recent DJ Khaled and Rihanna's hit, Wild Thoughts. Okay, now we're getting into the really good stuff. I have a soft spot for this year in pop and this era of Janet Jackson. She was a hit-making machine during this time, and Doesn't Really Matter has a melody line that is just undeniable. This one isn't from an iconic album though, which Janet has plenty of. No, you might remember this one from an era of Eddie Murphy movies that are, well, I remember them being a lot funnier when I was a kid. Doesn't Really Matter is from the soundtrack to Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, which is why she keeps saying the word nutty over and over in the song. Pretty clever tie-in. The pop princess thing was still happening in the year 2000, but Christina was already establishing herself away from the pack with transcendent vocals. In the year 2000, she scored 2 #1 hits with What a Girl Wants and Come On Over Baby, and I honestly couldn't pick which one was better, so I put them both back to back. Come On Over Baby gets the edge here just because I think the production has aged a little better.
The shoes on my feet, I bought the clothes I'm wearing, I bought the rock. Say my name, no one is around you, say baby I love you.
And another double shot. Of course, in just a few years, Kelly Rowland would go solo and have a successful run, and Beyonce would take over the world for the foreseeable future. But in the year 2000, Destiny's Child was still on top with 2 #1s. And in case you forgot, it's pretty clear from the intro what soundtrack Independent Women is from. And it fits perfectly with the vibe of kick-ass women who don't need a man to provide for them. Beyonce was already making empowering anthems and topping the charts with them 20 years ago, long before Formation and what she's been doing lately. But I give the edge to Say My Name, because it's just more iconic. Seriously, put it on at your next social gathering or party, if we ever have those again, and just watch how many people know all the words to Say My Name. First of all, and most importantly, R.I.P. Aaliyah. Try Again hit #1 in the summer of 2000, and by the next summer, she would be taken from us too soon. It really is tragic just how huge Aaliyah was poised to become, and Try Again was proof of that. It kind of makes you wonder what could have been, or where she would be if she was still with us today. We'll always have Try Again, however, which is a flawless pop song. Timbaland's production is in peak form here. Just listen to that instrumental part in the middle for proof. Also, a fun fact, this song was from the Romeo Must Die soundtrack, a movie I never saw and haven't thought about since probably the summer it came out. I love seeing all these chart toppers from movie soundtracks. You just don't really see that very much nowadays.
You might been hurt, babe. That ain't no lie.
In our modern digital times, this song is one big meme at the end of April. But in the year 2000, it was the first and only #1 for the boy band to end all boy bands, NSYNC. Not kidding, No Strings Attached sold 2.5 million copies in its first week, a record that wasn't broken for 15 years. Wow. When I was a kid, it was very uncool for a boy my age to like boy bands, but my younger sister was absolutely in love with them, and I heard them and their rivals, the Backstreet Boys, all the time around the house. And yeah, I secretly loved it. It's Gonna Be Me is easily the best song from that album, and maybe my favorite song from NSYNC ever. So yeah, Emily, you were right. Just don't gloat about it, okay?
He's everything you want. He's everything you need.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're thinking. Two things, right? First, this was a #1 song. I was surprised too. But since it's here, your second thought is probably, Ben, why is this so high on your list? #3, are you insane? And you know what? Yeah, I might be. I might be insane. Because here's the thing. I'm well aware of how plain Jane, how lame this song was when it came out, how lame it still is, that it's like a watered down collective soul past their prime, that it sounds like contemporary worship music. I mean, for a long time, I wasn't sure Vertical Horizon wasn't a Christian band. Their second single was called You're a God, and it has the tempo and mood of a song I would have sung at Bible camp, so I don't think that was a crazy stretch. I know all these things about this song, but this is why I can't be a good critic. A proper music snob, a true hipster, a devoted gatekeeper. It's because I can't help myself. Everything You Want is such a damn catchy song. I loved it in the year 2000, and I still love it now. When it comes on in the grocery store, when I'm in aisle 3 looking for ramen, I rock out. So sue me. You know, maybe I'm not the problem here. Maybe you need to live a little. I'm not wrong. You are. Yeah, that's it. Think about that. Think about that.
Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with.
During this time, Madonna was having a hell of a comeback. Ray of Light had seen her successful transition to the modern dance floor sounds come to pass. She was now an icon for a whole new generation. So what did she do for her follow-up album, Music? She kept the beats going, but she got a lot weirder. Music, and especially its title track and first single, sounded like the future. It sounded forward-thinking. We've talked about a lot of music in this video, and most of it was emulating the sounds of the decade prior. Music by Madonna was looking to the decade ahead. It sounds like Daft Punk before they hit it big, which makes sense seeing as how her main collaborator for the album was another French electronic producer, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce, but it's right here. The song has heavy vocal manipulation, the lyrics make little sense. Do you like her acid rock? Is that what she's saying? I think that's what she's saying. The transition was a smart career move, something Madonna is well known for. She hasn't had as big of an impact since, but music was a big moment for her, and it's aged very, very well. Would any other song be #1? Smooth is forever a jam, a deathless meme, an enduring bop that showcases Carlos Santana at his most timeless, Rob Thomas at his most attention-grabbing, the Latin craze of the movement at its most effective. Man, it's a hot one. I could do a whole video on this song, and I just might one day. In the meantime, there's a few great articles that came out when this song turned 20 years old, including a pretty sweet oral history from the people who made the song. That's linked below in the description. The story of how this song came together, how all of Supernatural came together, is pretty fascinating. So why has Smooth lasted? Why do we love it so? Why has it earned a second life after being overexposed upon its initial popularity? That's easy. Have you heard it? It's a monster. I think once in a generation you get a pop hit that is so undeniable, that you won't find a soul who doesn't love it. It may take some time, but people come back to it with fond memories and renewed love. In a few years, I think we'll see that with Despacito. I call it the smooth effect. It's when a song is so damn awesome, you'd be a fool to deny it. And you're not a fool, are you? Okay, that's the video. Thanks for watching my rankings. What did you think of them? What did you think of my reasons for ranking them this way? What songs from the year 2000 are your jams? Do you rock out to Vertical Horizon as loudly as I do? Let me know in the comments below. Also, while you're there, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I mean, why not? You made it this far, right? I'm Ben the Playlist Fiend, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.